Welcome back to the workshop where we're still working on the vintage Gremlin build, and there were two areas that we mainly worked on this week. One was the body mounts to get this body mounted to the chassis, and the other was the radiator back here behind where the grill's going to be. So let's take a closer look at these. So the first thing we did this week is we needed to get this body mounted up. It's been shaking around on this chassis for too long, so we needed to get the body mounted up nice and secure on the chassis so that we can make it work a little bit easier. So the first thing I did is I removed the front bumper. This is the bumper that we had made, the little custom bumper made. Removed it, and then I put in some magnets. So let me actually pop the body off. I'll just go ahead and take it off so we can take a closer look here. I made a bracket here, and this bracket has some magnets behind it that actually sit within the chassis. In fact, I'll take this off here in just a second. We'll take a closer look. But there are magnets here, and then we have corresponding magnets that I actually drilled. I drilled holes and mounted in the body. So these magnets correspond with these magnets, and basically, one, it pressure fits against this backside right here. Pressure fits against this bracket, and then we have the magnets that hold and center it up, so keep it where it needs to be. Let me go ahead and pull these screws out real quick, and I can show you exactly what I mean about the magnets back here. Now with the two screws out, I can pull the bracket off, and I can show you just what I'm talking about. See, we have two magnets on the backside. I've actually painted over them, but those are magnets there that you can see glued, and they actually fit right into the ends of what is actually the servo mount. This is where the servo mounts, and then this used to be where your bumper would slide in, and you'd have some set screws that would hold your bumper. Of course, we're using our own custom bumper, so we don't have that. And I'm able to utilize these little holes to house these magnets. You can see they fit right inside there. See, that kind of holds the bracket in place. Of course, we have the two screws that hold where there used to be set screws for the bumper that hold this bracket. And of course, like I had mentioned before, these two magnets correspond with the magnets that we mounted inside the body here. And that's really what holds and centers up the body, keeps the body kind of nice and centered, and gives some magnetic hold also. Now, the reason I did the bracket, I wanted to kind of explain that, is I don't want to affect this chassis. I'm trying to leave this SCX-102 chassis as is. I don't really want to modify it. I mean, we went to the lengths of changing the wheelbase of the body and not affecting the wheelbase on the chassis. I'm trying not to affect the chassis at all, and that's why I went ahead and just built a bracket like this, and it makes for a nice clean install. I think it works out pretty well. Next, we're going to take a look at the other major issue we took care of, which was the radiator. Before I do that, though, I did want to mention we're going to do a mount in the back exactly like we did up front here. Unfortunately, I have run out of the magnets that I'm using, so I've ordered some more magnets, and we're going to essentially do the exact same thing for a mount in the back. And then I think in the future, when we have an interior, that is, so we have an interior tub for this body, I'll probably do the same thing, do some magnet mounts here in the middle of the chassis to give us a nice, strong connection here that's easily removable, but still nice and strong out on the trails. So I did want to mention that. I kind of showed the example up front here. We will be doing it back and sides. Now, we also got to work on the radiator. In fact, let me turn it around, because this is kind of the ugly side of the radiator. Let me turn it around this way. We can see the front side of the radiator, or I guess it's the back side, or we'll call it the motor side of the radiator, and we can take a look at what's going on here. So this went through many different iterations. I had to do many different mock-ups to kind of get what's going to work and fit exactly for us. So we have the servo sitting right here up front, and I want to do two things. One, I want to get all the scale pieces in here, but I also want to hide this radiator. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone, I guess you could say, or maybe kill two birds with many stones at the end of the day. But the first one is the radiator itself. So I've notched in, and I can show you on one of the prototypes. I think I've shown this before. We had to build a notch into the radiator so that it will sit and mount onto the radiator. So it's sitting back on the radiator, and then I just have some double-sided tape that holds this on. It's actually servo tape that's holding it on, so it holds it. I mean, this thing's not going anywhere. But I also had to send the top side of the radiator forward. So we wanted the back side to be as far this way as we could, and then we pulled it forward because we have a radiator support that's going to sit right here, and this is going to, I think, give us the best appearance of the radiator from the outside and from the inside, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, we'll put the body back on and we'll take a look at that here in a second, how this works out. But it took a little bit of, I guess, a couple mock-ups to get these, get this stuff exactly right and to get the servos centered up and all that. Anyways, if you go check out the shorts, you can see exactly how we got here. The next thing I wanted to talk about too is I was talking about hiding this radiator. So the next thing we're going to be doing is adding some cooling fans. So we had talked about this in the last short on Friday. I printed these up real quick. They're actually going to be a little too small, but I'm going to size these up, make them bigger. I'm going to do 2 of them. So I have 2 of these. I'm going to do 2 cooling fans side by side, bigger and thicker. So I want to have a nice thick cowl, like a radiator cowl. And so if they have a nice and thick out to here, that's going to hide a lot of this radiator. I'll end up having to, or not radiator, I'm sorry, servo. We're trying to hide the servo. I'll end up having to cut these basically in half, or actually probably put a notch in them so that they sit also, just like the radiator, they sit around the servo. And that's going to really make this servo disappear, I think. And then you got to remember also we're going to do radiator hoses, top and bottom. We probably, there might be some more wiring. There's going to be the brackets, the actual radiator support brackets coming here. We're going to have brackets on the side here, which is actually going to hold our side lights, which when we put the body on, we'll take a look at that also. So we're going to have a lot going on here. This is why I say maybe multiple stones to kill a bird. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on here. And I think once it's all said and done, this servo is just going to disappear. You're not going to see it. And it's just going to look like a scale motor sitting inside of this engine bay. So, but speaking of engine bays and body, let me go ahead and mount this up and we'll take a final look at exactly how this is going to look. With the body on and the hood up, and I brought a little bit of light over so hopefully we can see in here pretty well. You can see what I'm talking about, how now this top part of the radiator fits in front of the radiator support, but we still have the bottom part of the radiator in front of that servo so it can actually mount to the servo. And then here's where I was talking about. There's going to be radiator supports. They go right here and right here. So those will be in there. And then we'll put our fans in right on top of here. And you can see, let me see if I can get the best light for you. You can see this servo, I think it's just going to absolutely disappear for us. And then I also wanted to show you, I was talking about building, there's going to be side brackets on the radiator itself. Let me turn the car towards us. And we can kind of see what we're talking about here, because we're going to have those side markers here behind the grill. So we'll build some radiator supports on each side and then brackets coming off there. And I think I'm going to build some cups for lights, for LED lights that'll just sit right behind the grill, which here's what we've got for a grill so far, which is really ugly, but it's still in mock-up phase. And then those lights will shine through the grill. But we'll take care of these brackets, I think, next week. We're going to take care of the fans next week, get that wrapped up. As soon as I can get these magnets in, I want to get the back side of this body mounted to the chassis. And then I also want to try to kind of finalize this grill if I can, to get that finished out. But I think we're getting where we need to be. Make sure, if you're not, watch the shorts during the week. I release at least one short every day at 3 o'clock. Kind of capping or summarizing what we worked on that day for the Gremlin build. It's what we're working on right now, so that's what the summary is about. At least one. Sometimes I'm doing 2 a day, maybe even 3. But they're very short. They're fast to watch. Give those a look. Also, I always fail to mention, if you need to get yourself some premium CA glue, make sure and check the link down below for the Star Bond. It's the only CA glue I use. You check that link down below if you want to get yourself some. There's actually a discount code down there also for you guys. Let me know what you think about the Gremlin build so far, how we're going with it, what you would do different, or what you would do the same, or just let me know what you think about it so far. Let me know down below. Hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with, hit the notification bell too, because then I think it'll notify you when the shorts come out during the week, I think. I'm not sure exactly how the shorts work, I'm not going to lie. But try hitting that notification bell so you can keep up with it. Like I said, hit the like button. The like button really does help this in the algorithms. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you on Monday.